and go.
My name is REZA KHOSHDEL, and I am running to be your next city councilor for Scarborough Rouge Park.
That's great. And what inspired you to run there, REZA? Is this your first time?
This is my second time. First time actually running a real competitive race. Last time I did it just to kind of get my name out, but this time we are in it to win it. And the reason I am running for city councilor is because, I've been almost a lifelong Scarborough resident. I've lived in all parts of Scarborough. But, one common theme I see time and time again is we don't get our fair share. And I think, a lot of people have said that in the past, so I'm not repeating anything that folks haven't discussed. But I truly feel it, and I see that resonate in my day-to-day, whether it's the lack of community support programs for youth and seniors, whether it's the lack of reliable and on-time transit, and transit that gets us to where we need to go, whether it's a lack of feeling safety. Even the last few years, our sense of safety has gone downhill a little bit. So there's certain things that I like to work on in this community, but at the core, at the foundation, is empowering residents and ensuring that they are involved in every step of the way and consulted in all decisions. And I think that's how you truly build rapport with your residents, and you attack political apathy. If you look at turnout for municipal politics, it's notoriously low, much worse than the provincial and federal. I think part of that is because people aren't connecting with their leaders. They don't feel like their leaders are listening to their concerns. They don't feel like they're involved in the decision making. So my job as a city councilor is to turn that around, and I want to be a voice for our residents, and to do that, I need to be their eyes and ears, and to do that, I need to consult with them. I need them at the table to help me make those decisions. Scarborough Rouge Park is a massive ward, both geographically and from a population density, and so the only way a city councilor is really going to be able to do a good job is to ensure that they have their eyes and ears to the ground in all pockets of this ward, and that they're talking to folks and they're understanding what their concerns are, and they're taking those concerns to City Hall.
That's great.
What I plan on doing.
I was looking at your campaign and your background. You got, like all the other candidates, all grassroots like yourself.
Absolutely.
And you came and you lived in a shelter when you came to the country, right?
Absolutely. For the first year and a half, it was very difficult. And even afterwards when we left, we relied on government support, on the support of community, social workers for many years. But I really think it instilled in me a power to do good for my community and to give back. And I am the byproduct of when the community comes together to build up an individual. And I want to do that for the next generation of kids that are growing up in this wonderful city.
That's great. So if you get elected, what are your first two top priorities in your campaign?
So number one, professionally, I run a community center in East York, a little bit away out of Scarborough. But, I look at what we offer there and what we have available to us here, and I honestly shake my head. We have, demographically speaking, a high concentration of senior citizens in our ward, actually the highest, and we have a growing youth base in our ward as well. But we have virtually nothing for them. No programs, no services, no workshops, no means to create community. So I really want to instill that in this ward, and I think that will make us a closer community. Number two, transit is always a big issue here. Being geographically speaking in the corner of the city, we get the short end of the stick, unfortunately, with many things, and you see that implicated in our transit access and in our roads, and I want to ensure that we are getting equitable treatment at City Hall, that transit is truly city corner to corner, ensuring that everybody in Scarborough is served, including people in Scarborough Rouge Park. Because I think one of the frustrating things for a lot of folks is we sometimes, get wind of a new transit project and it ends in McCowan. It ends in halfway in Scarborough.
Yes.
And so I shake my head. I'm like, do folks understand where Scarborough actually goes to? So to truly be connected as a city, I think we need to ensure that we are servicing the farthest corners of our city, and that means that servicing Scarborough Rouge Park much better than what we're doing now.
And you also have two sons, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my question is, when you see your sons growing up, what would you like to inspire your sons when they see dad running for council?
It's funny. I talk about this with my wife all the time. I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits of this whole process is I'm able to see the effect that it has on my own children. They ask me all the time, why do you want to run? And I always go back to, I just want to help people at a large scale. And as simplistic as that sounds, it's the honest truth.
That's
and I
true.
think that's really resonating with my kids. In fact, fun story, my son came to me just last week with this form, and he was so excited to show me, and I'm like, what is this, son? And he volunteered to be a hall monitor for
Oh,
his school.
cool.
And so it's like a leadership position. I asked him, like, hey, why are you doing this? You know, or what spurred you to actually volunteer? And he said, well, you know, you're helping your community, and I wanted to help my school.
Ah, nice.
So like that, you know, that really,
That's nice.
that really touches on why I'm doing this. And it's not just to inspire my own children, but it's to inspire every child in this world, you know, who grow up with hopes and dreams. And it's incumbent on political leaders, such as city councilors, to ensure that they do everything they can to create that future for these children. And I am going to dedicate my life to this. My North Star will always be what's best for my constituents, and I will do everything I can to ensure that every kid in this ward, every corner of this ward, is optimistic and hopeful for the future.
That's great. My last question is talking about inspiration with your son. If somebody came to you and asked you, Reza, thank you for inspiring me to be a community member. What you do is now inspiring me to do more community work or involve politics. How does it make you feel inside?
I think that's what it's all about. I think politics and community involvement, it's all about inspiring and creating that spark so other people can be enthralled in that same energy. So for me, if, you know, win or lose, if I'm able to just have more people involved in the political process, more interested in the political process, that's a win, you know? And truth be told, a lot of people, a lot of powers that be, people that are influential politicians, oftentimes, you know, they wish for the opposite. They don't want people mobilized. They don't want the community to be consulted and understand the decisions that are being made in the halls of power. But I think that's to the detriment of constituents, and that's to the detriment of community building. So for me, it's all about being out in the open, being transparent, honest, and open with your constituents.
That's great.
Working together.
Anything you want to add before I cut off?
I just want to thank the community associations that put this together. I've been on the other side. It's not easy to organize these things. There's so many moving parts. But from the bottom of my heart, I thank you because it gave all of us an opportunity to get together, to discuss ideas, and discuss where we want to take the city of Toronto in
Great.
2025 and beyond.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.